You're listening to The Raw Reaction on the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
Monday night, let me tell you something, there ain't nothing better than coming on the air, listening to that beautiful tune, one of the greatest tunes ever written. I am your host, Angry Tensai, and I'm with my brother, my biological brother, Big Dick. Big Dick, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Brother. I am doing well, my friend. I am doing well. Excellent Raw tonight, but I want to lead things off with the big news of the evening. For those of you living under a rock, the future president of the United States, Donald Trump, got a major endorsement tonight. That's right.
Really?
Yes. Buffalo Bills head coach, Rex Ryan. Sexy
Well,
Rex.
That puts him over the top right there. If he's endorsed by Rex Ryan, you might as well just give him the presidency.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just a landslide now. It's stepping on 3 and pinning her 1-3 right now. It's just a formality at this point.
I like that all the blowhards, if you will, are big Trump guys. Like our man Chris Christie from our home state.
Yeah. You know what? It's good to see him, and possibly we will have a Vice President Christie someday. Who knows?
Well, let me tell you something, buddy. There ain't nothing better than a Trump rally to get your town going. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I'm waiting for him to come to Bayville, New Jersey. I really am.
He actually came to our city here in Connecticut and in Hartford. Not that I live in Hartford, but I don't think there's ever been so many people in that pathetic city to see Mr. Donald Trump. So, pretty interesting stuff.
Just getting a glimpse of him makes it all worth it. I'm sure there were many tears shed and many erections full staff.
You know, speaking of wrestling and Donald Trump, you have to think Bobby Lashley is a supporter of Donald Trump, given they took down Vince McMahon together, right? You'd have to think he has the endorsement.
I would assume, but you know what? I have not. We might have to reach out to Bobby Lashley. Get a
Bobby Lashley?
Whatever. Bobby Lashley to get a full endorsement from him.
I love Bobby Lashley, bro. He's like, I think, like HB Clay instead of HBK. HB Clay is awesome. He's a super icon. So anyway, dude, I guess, kind of like this new age Raw with Shane McMahon. It's more like, all right, well, I'm going to put out all the best young talents you want to see, and I'm going to match them up, and we're going to do less storylines and see how it goes. And, maybe just because it's right after WrestleMania and we're in London, they pick some of the great towns and cities to do this in. But, man, was the crowd into Raw tonight. It was a pretty stacked card, too. I was pretty entertained, brother. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, you know what? I like this card because, it gave us, it together, it set up a lot of matches for the Payback pay-per-view coming up. So I think that's important, and it was a good mix of, okay, you know what, let's combine a couple feuds, or let's cross them over a little bit, get them in the ring together, and like we had the Jericho Sami Zayn matchup, and Kevin Owens and
Dean Ambrose.
Dean.
To that point about the Sami Zayn Chris Jericho match, I gotta tell you, WWE has done a very good job of building back up Jericho while he's still putting people over. And throwing a couple things out there. He won when Neville was hot. He beat Neville at the Beast for the East special, which was a pretty big win at the time. He split the series 2-2 with AJ Styles, and he got a pretty clean win, as clean as you're going to get with Sami Zayn tonight, where he hit the code breaker as Sami Zayn was jumping off top rope. Jericho is booked pretty strong, man. I like that. I'm glad he's not just a jobber.
I know we've been saying, and I think in the last couple of pay-per-views, really, he's been he's one of those wrestlers who we expect to lose at the pay-per-view because he has the cred, if you will. So a loss isn't necessarily going to affect him as it would an up-and-comer such as Neville or any of the other wrestlers that you mentioned. But no, I like it as well because it's something you wouldn't expect. I mean,
don't expect it now. I feel like he's getting the Rock treatment, like where he's such an all-time great that you should expect him to win when he comes out there. And I'll tell you, tonight was the first time I could really remember where I'm like, Jericho's going to win this match. He's on a roll. And, he did. And Sami Zayn was very competitive, obviously. And Zayn the WWE's really building him up. But I got to bring this up, man. Has Sami Zayn won a match on TV? I mean, on WWE. And NXT obviously did. But let's just think back to all of his appearances. He lost to Cena initially. He lost. I mean, he's lost every match he's been in.
Yeah, he lost the Royal Rumble.
He lost at the WrestleMania. He lost. I mean, he's lost.
He lost last week, and he lost tonight.
Is he the Tommy Dreamer of current day? Like he's so freaking over. It's not even funny. But you gotta let him win like once in a while. I don't know where they're going with that. Do you have any idea on why he continuously loses?
Maybe it's because he's been built up so much, and he has the cred. He has the cred that Jericho has, but he can get away with losing matches. And you know what? I think it could also be. I mean, it could be part of the journey where he's going to start out by losing a couple matches. I mean, it's going to be a slow build. It's not going to be He's not going to have a freaking firecracker lit up his ass like the Shield. He's going to be more of a built up as a solo act and a fan favorite.
When Shane McMahon comes out tonight and says, I came back for guys like AJ Styles and Sami Zayn specifically, clearly there is a plan that Sami Zayn is going to be a top hand for WWE. I'm okay with him losing matches. I'd love to see him get on a SmackDown or something and just win a match, I mean, I think it would be good for him to just show, because little kids are, like, I don't mean this, I'm just going to come out the wrong way. I was going to say, like, little kids are stupid, but they're not. I meant, like, they have to see you win once in a while to get behind you. You know what I mean? Like, not all the time, but just once in a while.
Yeah.
And I'm worried he could lose steam from the younger people due to it, but we'll see. Hey, Kev, I know you're a big NXT and Sami Zayn guy. Do you have any thoughts on his booking and what you think the ultimate plan is?
No idea.
So how do you take that though when you hear Sami Zayn's lost every match he's had on WWE TV, but he's been booked strong. He looks good. So it's kind of odd that I'm saying those two comments together. It's not like he's been made to look like a jobber. He's literally looked strong. Super competitive in every match, but hasn't won any, which is kind of odd.
Well, let's be honest. He's injury prone. They're never going to put a title run on him. So why really invest much at all in doing anything with him? I mean, it's just going to have to be good enough that he gets to go out there and have good matches.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly does that. Maybe he's getting, like you said, maybe it's like the Dolph Ziggler treatment now. But,
just a comparison here with somebody else who's relatively new to the scene. We have Sami Zayn, who's wrestled some big matches thus far. Oh, albeit most of Sami Zayn matches are either 4-way, Royal Rumble, 6-way. I mean, this was probably his first one-on-one match in WWE, I think. No?
You might be right. Honestly, you might be right, because it's funny. I actually missed the intro to the match. And I was actually looking for a third guy. It's funny you say that, and there wasn't. I'm like, oh, Jericho versus Zayn, nice match.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what? I'd rather see him come out and lose than see him get the Baron Corbin treatment and get fed people like Fandango and probably Adam Rose when he gets back from being suspended for drugs and all those guys. I'd rather see him wrestle somebody even or somebody more talented and lose than see him booked against a jobber. Like, I feel like Baron Corbin, he's almost getting the
Rusev push.
No, well, you know what? I was gonna say he's not even getting that. I think he's getting the Ascension push.
Could be. Well, I mean, you know, I like Baron Corbin and I liked him in NXT, but I just don't think he's got enough to be a big player in WWE. I could see him being a mainstay in the Intercontinental title division. I mean, I think he's kind of like a modern day Warlord, man. Like, you remember Warlord? I mean, he's just a big, ominous dude, but I don't know how far he's gonna go. But I gotta ask you, you know, to that point you made about Fandango, because they wrestled and he just got absolutely squashed. I mean, that was one of the most definitive squashes I've seen on WWE TV in a long time. How could you ever recover from that? Like,
I don't know.
I mean, that's
better did at WrestleMania.
It just was, like, honestly, I don't think I've ever seen Heath Slater get beat like that. I mean, maybe he'll get, like, surprised and beaten, but, I mean, not only did, like, Zayn kind of just, or not Zayn, Corbin just laugh at Fandango, but when he was done, like, just kicking his ass, and it was like a 60-second match, he actually went out of his way to throw beaten Fandango over a table into Dolph Ziggler. Then he takes his eyes off Fandango, beats the crap out of Ziggler, who's at ringside, and then goes back, finishes Fandango with his finisher at the end of the days, and then proceeds to turn around in time to beat up the turned around Dolph Ziggler, who's jumping him. I mean, it just made Fandango look like garbage, like he was wrestling me.
Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. I don't know. I think they're sort of at the point with Fandango where, I mean, Fandango's happy collecting a paycheck and getting an occasional win on the Superstars.
You see the shape Fandango's in. Like, he's literally one of the best in shape guys in the roster.
And he's a really good technical wrestler. Unfortunately, I mean, you need to have people to put over people like Baron Corbin.
But imagine you dedicated your life to your fitness the way Fandango does. And I'm not taking anything away from, like, you know, like some of the other wrestlers, but Fandango really is an outstanding cardio and physical condition. He really is. He has a more athletic physique than what you normally see in the WWE, just instead of a really big guy or just like a general guy. Like, it's obviously an incredible diet he's on, and it's a tough regime he's on. To do all that work for this, I mean, it's gotta wear on you as a person, you know, to give up your whole life, to be on the road, to just basically be a joke on TV. Like, I mean, that cannot be easy.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
he's not a joke. He's not a joke like Social Outcasts. Like, I'll be honest with you, I think Social Outcasts are awesome. Like, especially with Adam Rose, like the four of them, they're hysterical and they're funny and people are into them. Like, Fandango is just like a jobber. Like, that, I mean, it's worse. Like, to me, the Social Outcasts are not jobbers. They're just a really entertaining group that comes out and does funny shit. And that's different than being a jobber.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I hear what you're saying there. I hear what you're saying. I don't know. Maybe you should write a letter to WWE and see what,
I just feel bad for him. I just watched that today. I felt terrible for him. I mean, Social Outcasts didn't do much better against Apollo Crews, but they still get their spot every week consistently on Raw. I mean, they are a mainstay on Raw, man.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think that it's. I think you need jobbers, but at the same time, WWE doesn't want jobbers, because I know we talked about it a little bit last week, where it doesn't really matter. Like the Ascension, when they were getting their original push, they were wrestling against like Matt Jones and Michael Sampson.
Yeah, true jobbers.
And I mean, hey, that's great. They killed him, but I mean, it's almost like if WWE had, especially now with the internet wrestling community. I mean, if WWE had anybody who was like anybody out from NXT or whatever, like people would be like googling the shit out of it and like figuring out, okay, is this guy going to be a superstar? What's the story here? Whereas, I mean, you bring in these two complete scrub jobbers who will never be on Raw again. And I mean, it's almost just like, okay, we know what's going to happen here. They're going to move in. They're going to get their mic working, and they're going to be booked to look extremely strong.
Yeah, when you're wrestling Montana Mike and Killer Kev, I mean, I'm not impressed when you win. Anyway, Roman Reigns, AJ Styles heated up tonight for sure. My man AJ Styles runs into his old Bullet Club brothers, Karl Anderson and Luke Gallows, backstage, and boy were those guys smitten with each other, talking about the old days on the road together, traveling the roads, and they thank AJ for getting them there. And clearly, you know, he had a hand in that, bringing them over, but it was very clear that AJ might not be on the same page as those guys who decide to jump Roman Reigns, and AJ Styles says he was not a part of it after AJ Styles has a very brief conflict with Roman Reigns, and I was surprised WWE trusted them out there together on the mic. It wasn't anything great, but man, did Roman Reigns look like a schmo compared to AJ Styles out there. But Roman said he digs what he's doing, but he ain't gonna be able to take the title off him. So should be an interesting match. But do you think the Bullet Club is reuniting at least the version with AJ and Gallows and Anderson?
You know what? I'm gonna go a step further. I think that at this next pay-per-view, AJ Styles takes the title off of Reigns with the Bullet Club's help, and they become a NWO-esque stable.
It's too obvious though, because they're saying like they're with AJ, but I mean, I don't know, man. If AJ Styles walks out with the title at Payback, that would be awesome. That would be so awesome. And because it's not just an internet wrestling community thing. Everybody watched TNA at one point, and everybody knows AJ Styles was the man. He was kind of like WCW Sting. You know, I mean, AJ Styles is the man in TNA, and it's awesome that WWE is actually really investing in him. Like, they really, really believe in him, and it's really cool to watch. I'm really happy WWE has an open mind to talent that maybe wasn't homegrown.
Yeah, and you know what? This is almost like Daniel Bryan's push back in a couple years ago.
Oh yeah, definitely. And they embraced one of Ring of Honor's top guys, you know, and Daniel Bryan was really the man over there. Like, you know, yes, CM Punk was there, but Daniel Bryan was the guy in Ring of Honor. And AJ Styles is the man in TNA. So very cool to see what's going on here. But it's like the sweetheart of the fans versus the people the fans can't stand the most, AJ Styles. Infrastructure versus the Resistance. And I think this would have been more entertaining as your main event at WrestleMania than Triple H versus Roman Reigns. I'll go that far because I think the people are that into this, and they will be that into this.
You know, I definitely agree. And you know what? I think that this could turn into a longer feud, maybe even drawn out to SummerSlam. I could see the Bullet Club having a feud with the Usos as well. And I mean, this match, the title match, could even get thrown out at Payback and build up for SummerSlam, which is like 2 pay-per-views down the road, with Styles and Reigns, with Reigns still having the championship.
Well, the Bullet Club better be careful, man, because the Shield is always one call away, man.
That would be oh man, dude, that would be freaking.
That's what people want, man. It would be awesome. I mean, Rollins.
Wait for Roman Reigns to get a put or to get people to cheer for him.
When Rollins left, I mean, he was so over, it wasn't even funny. Like, he, as a face, Like he was in the Authority as a heel, telling us the fans that we suck, and he'd still get ovations by the crowd. I mean, people wanted to cheer him.
No, that's because he was such a great heel. He's sort of like, and I think his place been taken a little bit less now because I think his push has gotten the reins pulled on a little bit. But I think that Kevin Owens was the same way when he first came out.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Kevin Owens still, I mean, the crowd's still behind Kevin Owens whether he likes it or not. I don't know. There's a lot you can do, and I know they're like giving Shane McMahon credit for this, but they clearly WWE realized whatever they were doing isn't working, and they're like, okay, we're gonna use this Shane McMahon storyline to reverse the way we do things, and maybe go with the way the older fans want to see it, and they're doing that. And honestly, it's a much better show, man. I mean, it's just a wrestling show, man. And if you like wrestling and you like watching the talent go, I mean, it's just like every match tonight was very good. I mean, there was even an 8-man tag match between the New Day, Cesaro, The Miz, and the League of Nations. And honestly, man, just watching Cesaro run around the ring, uppercutting everything in sight, it was just really entertaining, man. It was a good match. I mean, it's like, that normally should not be a good match, but when you have good workers out there, it doesn't matter what you put out there, it'll be good.
Yeah, I mean, the New Day, they're great workers. And Cesaro, I mean, one of my favorites. I'm looking forward to the day when Cesaro gets his main event push.
I don't think it's too far off by what I've been saying.
No, I think barring injuries and barring just somehow getting stale with fans, I think it's before next year's WrestleMania.
Well, Kev makes a good point. I mean, if you're labeled as injury prone, you're pretty much done with WWE. I mean, the injuries are too often and frequent. They need to know that, you know, their guys are steady. But look at John Cena. He's been hurt a lot, man.
Yeah, but he's also worked. I mean, he's been around for 15 years, probably.
Oh, yeah.
Getting close to it. I mean, he's hurt a lot, but then, I mean, he'll come back quicker. But the thing is, I mean, he sells merchandise. And
WWE does not baby him either. I mean, they work him into the ground.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, to be honest with you, my favorite Cena work outside of, like, his first, like, couple of years in WWE was the U.S. Open Challenge. I loved it because it was him getting wins, but putting guys over into wins.
Can I jump in and make a point?
Sure, go ahead. We'd love it. We love when you're on. Come on, fella.
You of course rightfully point out that John Cena has been injured quite a bit over the last couple of years. If John Cena had been injured this much at the start of his career, he wouldn't be John Cena today.
Wow,
you're right. You're definitely right.
Well, you know, the thing is, I mean, WWE definitely has not babied John Cena, and they've put him in this position. They work him like they've worked no main eventer ever, almost to the point of disrespect. And I agree with Vic. The U.S. Open Challenge with John Cena was one of the coolest angles, period, I've ever seen. Ever. But to ask John Cena to go out literally 12 to 13 to 14 to 15 weeks in a row and put on the matches he was putting on, it was unbelievable. I mean, it was really unprecedented that you take essentially your world champion, you call him the U.S. champion, whatever. He was the world champion. The U.S. champion at that point, no offense to Seth Rollins, but the U.S. champion was essentially the world champion, and he was having an open world championship mystery opponent match every week, and they would go 20 to 30 minutes and steal the show. I mean, it was insane, and it just shows you, I mean, I don't think it was fair to John Cena, to be honest with you. But to Vic's point and your point, when do they stop putting the title on him if he's going to be hurt? I don't know. I mean, it's interesting.
I mean, he could almost get, to be honest, it could almost get to the point now with Cena where he could be used as more of a special attraction for Raws.
The problem with John Cena is that I don't know how he's able to do this. He'll have a broken arm or whatever he'll have wrong with him. He'll go out and wrestle an additional match, and everyone knows he's hurt, and he'll complete the storyline, which is insane, and no one else does that. And Cena does do that. I can think of 2 times he finished his storyline and ran it out, with his injury. I mean, John Cena's the real deal, man.
Yeah. No, I mean, you give him. I mean, I think we've given him a good amount of credit compared to the rest of the internet wrestling community out there. I mean,
can I ask you a question? Let me throw this out there, not to interrupt, but I want to get you and Kevin's reaction to this. Roman Reigns is the most hated face of all time. He's got the world title. If John Cena came out and confronted Roman Reigns for the title, would the crowd shit on both of them, or would they actually support Cena? Good question, right?
I think they'd support Cena.
Would they support Cena? What do you think, Kev? Oh, he's up there. I would love to get his opinion. But I kind of agree with you. I think they would want to see Cena finish him.
Because Cena doesn't get go away heat. He gets fruity pebble heat. Like, you know what? Hey, it's a tacky storyline, but you're still a freaking great worker. Like, it's respected. It's respect heat.
He doesn't get it as bad as he used to, though. You're right.
Reigns just gets go away heat.
They'll boo Cena when the match starts, kind of like what they used to do with Kurt Angle. But if you really listen to the crowd, in some of his matches, the crowd's pretty behind him. When 4 years ago, there'd be not one person in the audience would cheer for him. So I just don't think that's going to happen with Roman Reigns, because honestly, John Cena's a decent worker and he's a good worker. Roman Reigns is just average. There's nothing he does in the ring that's special. I think John Cena really is got a complete game. I really do. I think he's a lot better than people give him credit for.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to argue with that.
Interesting stuff nonetheless, but I do really think Reigns versus Styles is going to be so intriguing, and that's a great match. You have Jericho versus Ambrose. That's going to be a great match, and who knows what's going to happen there. Ambrose was booked with Kevin Owens tonight by Shane McMahon, and Ambrose went over clean, and we talked about this Ambrose versus Owens thing. Ambrose is everyone has the one guy that owns them. Ambrose owns Owens. I mean, I can think of 4 times Ambrose has beaten him clean. I can't think of any times Owens beat Ambrose. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. And you know what? I'm just going to go back and with WWE booking / this whole pay-per-view coming together, I like the way it's setting up, but I think you see this if you go back and look at the cards on all the pay-per-views after WrestleMania. I think you'll find that it's a lot less wrestlers wrestling and a lot more singles matches or just regular tag team matches, as opposed to the gimmick battle royal. You have this 5 diva on each team match, the 8-man ladder match, things like that. So I think I'm looking forward to Payback because there's actually more one-on-one feuds here, and it's quite a few at this point. I mean, I'm sure they're going to fill in a card, maybe put Lesnar on if he's going to be on the next pay-per-view, which I doubt at this point if we haven't seen a build yet for it. But
yeah, I agree. I mean, we would know if Lesnar was going to be booked by now. Good point.
Yeah, but I mean, I like how this is shaping up because everybody wants to see Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho versus what the hell's his name?
Ambrose.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be. There's not many people. I don't know. Maybe I just don't appreciate Chris Jericho as much as I should, considering his history and just being freaking great. But that match, if it wasn't against Ambrose, I don't know how interesting that match would be. I think Ambrose versus Jericho is going to be freaking hugely entertaining.
They were nailing it up until they brought out the Dragons de Luce, which is evil Sin Cara and evil Kalisto to fight the Lucha Dragons, which is Kalisto and Sin Cara. Do we really need more Sin Caras and Kalistos? What's the end game here?
Dude, I want Los Caforas to throw their hat in the ring.
What do you think? Why are they doing that angle?
Because WWE hates us.
So are you excited that we have 2 Sin Caras again?
Dude, Sin Cara, I think, was the most underrated wrestler in WWE roster.
I'm completely making that up, right?
Yeah.
There's no dark Lucha Dragons. But speaking of tag teams, I have to say, I have been really pleased with the outcome of the tag team tournament. It has played out as I predicted as far as the winners go, but the way they won, I certainly did not predict. And I love the fact the Vaudevillains cleanly beat the Usos and moved on, and Enzo and Cass cleanly beat the Dudleys and moved on. I was shocked. How about you?
You know what? I sort of thought that. So now is the final. Hold on a second. Let me make sure that I got this straight. Is the finals now the Vaudevillains versus Cass and Enzo?
Yep, and that is at Payback. So they're actually having the finals at Payback. The Vaudevillains versus Enzo and Cass.
You know what? That's actually, you know what? I actually don't mind that. I was thinking it was going to be the pay-per-view. I don't mind that because they have New Day in a feud with League of Nations. So I think that's. I mean, I think that'll be interesting. But I don't know. I mean, what do you think about? I mean, the announcers, are they playing up? I don't feel like they're giving this. I mean, it's almost the revolution of the tag team division here. I mean, you have these two teams, and you have the Revival coming up, and I mean, basically one of these new teams, or one of the two of them, will be wrestling for the championship match. And
I know. I think it's a big deal. I mean, I think it's a real big deal and it's great that the Dudleys and the Usos put over these two new teams. And I'm not surprised the Usos did, but the Dudleys really did a good job, both on the mic the last few weeks and in the ring with Enzo and Cass. I mean, I still think Enzo and Cass are going to get screwed by somebody, but they changed the Vaudevillains music, which kind of pisses me off. They got rid of the happy music that starts once you get past the evil handshake, and now it's just straight evil straight through. So very bummed they changed their music.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like intros in NXT are much more over than they are in WWE.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. The crowd was behind the Vaudevillains. The crowd was behind Enzo and Cass. So I have no idea who's gonna win. But conventional wisdom tells me if the New Day are like crazy over faces, the heels got to win, which is what I initially thought. Vaudevillains still my choice.
To be honest with you, my thought process with this is that the Dudleys get involved and screw over Enzo and Cass.
I'd have to do that as well.
Feud down the road, and then you have the Usos who could feud with Gallows and Anderson.
Yeah, I mean, the new blood is always going to attract attention. So as long as they have the new blood, they have the folks from the Bullet Club in their federation, it's going to be new to the fans.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, and it'll be interesting to see what happens to the Bullet Club, because isn't Finn Balor a member as well?
Yeah, Finn Balor was the original leader, and he was replaced by AJ Styles.
Okay, yeah, so I mean that'll be interesting once, assuming Finn Balor gets up there, if the Bullet Club is a legitimate faction, if he joins them, or if he is turned on by them, or even AJ Styles, same thing.
The women's 8-man tag match got about 15 minutes tonight. That shocked me.
Well, you know what? I'd rather have that to look at than Stephanie McMahon in a pantsuit and Triple H talking shit about something.
I agree with you 100%. I have no problem with it either. Well, I don't know, man. I'm really excited about the pay-per-view. I mean, the matches we named are very good. I mean, there's no one that can refute that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, this is the only thing to make this pay-per-view better, and right now I don't think you need it, which is testimony of how good I think the pay-per-view will be, is putting Lesnar in a match.
Yeah, I would say that.
Or if Bray Wyatt wasn't injured, figuring out a way to get him into a match. By the way, what is the injury? I know he hurt his leg or something, but how long is he expected to be out?
I don't think they know yet. I'm not quite sure. I think it's like 4 to 8 weeks. I mean, there hasn't been a lot out on it, and he's been hurt, so I'm not really sure. They weren't on the TV at all tonight, from what I saw.
No,
So-
I mean that was a little surprising, but then again, the Wyatts have zero appeal without Bray out there. In my
No.
opinion.
And I think WWE's smart to take them off TV. I mean, I guess the same could be said about Victor with his suspended partner Connor of the Ascension. I mean, what do you do with him now?
Stick him in Social Outcast to replace Adam Rose.
Social outcast. Yeah, I love that. I love Heath Slater. Social outcast, baby. Like, why would you be excited about screaming at people that you're a social outcast?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, they're taking ownership of it.
Social outcast, baby. Well, I mean, that was really the whole card in a whole tonight. I mean, I don't know if I'm missing something, but that was it. I mean, there was no real storyline. It was literally Shane setting everything up and talking about opportunity and who he gave. I mean, the action was fantastic all night. You know,
Yeah. I'd rather have this. I'd much rather have this than like the lead up in WrestleMania where it's just so many stupid things, and then they have like a contract signing at one point and all that good stuff. But it'll be interesting to see how everything plays out.
I give the show an A, straight up A. I mean, it was just a great, like, everybody like really showcased tonight. Like, really all the players really did their thing tonight. It was cool, man. And they put all the right people on TV. It was just it was a cool show, man. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed watching the show tonight.
Yeah. One question for you, which is this is probably the worst going into it, and not including women's matches, probably the least publicized and sort of least anticipated match. Baron Corbin versus Dolph Ziggler. Does Ziggler put him over?
Absolutely. There's Dolph Ziggler has no chance.
Yeah, that's sort of a figure in there.
I mean, I don't know. I think Corbin is gonna make Dolph Ziggler look like Kevin Kraft. How about that?
Wow. That's
what I
some interesting stuff, man.
You know, I don't know, man. I just think it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting for sure. But I'm trying to think. I ran into Brian Scalabrine the other night, by the way. The White Mamba who was on the Celtics and Nets teams. The big redhead basketball player.
Oh man, isn't he still on like a guaranteed contract and just get traded every year as a salary dump at the trade deadline?
Not that I know of, but he's on one of the
local
New England TV shows. They're not TV shows, but like the broadcasting of wrestling. So not wrestling, of the Celtics. So he's been pretty popular, but he ran into yours truly, the Double A, on the streets. So yet another famous person I got to meet.
Wow. He asked for an autograph?
No, I just said hello. I just said,
did he ask for your autograph?
Oh, no, he didn't. I don't know if he's a Raw Reaction fan. Well, you know what's interesting? I'm excited about this. Tonight's the first week we do this, but we've talked about it. But tonight, after our show, the Raw Reaction is going to be on, where literally the two hosts are going to react to things that we've said and what we did tonight on the air. So that should be interesting.
Yeah, it's good to I think it's good to give ourselves some immediate feedback on what we're putting together out here. I mean, it keeps the product fresh, keeps and you know what? It'll probably get better ratings than Raw Reaction.
Oh, I'm sure it will. The Raw Reaction certainly would get better ratings than us, because people are going to say, well, number one, this is a better show, and then number two, why would I listen to the Raw Reaction? I can listen to the Raw Reaction and learn even more. So, you know, it is an alternative, but we're going to try it out, and our two hosts are pretty excited, so it'll be a good show. But I don't know, man. That's really all I got this week for wrestling. Anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, I actually I'm in a new location this week.
Where are you?
I am somewhere between Raleigh and Norfolk, Virginia.
What are you doing down there?
I'm sitting in an empty parking lot of a Five Guys Pizza podcasting.
Oh, Lord. You know, you're not the first to do that. Ed in San Antonio was at like a Sonic once and broadcasted.
Yeah. Well, the Five Guys is closed, unfortunately. They were closing up when I got there, so I'm just like...
Our very own Ed in San Antonio would be very proud to hear that you're pulling off the side of the road and doing shows like he has done before.
Alright, well, you sort of took my thunder away there. I thought you'd be more excited.
No, I think it's great. I think it's awesome. I'm glad you ate. I'd rather you eat than not come in the air and eat. Did you eat?
No, I didn't eat.
So wait, you just pulled over there and then didn't eat anything?
It was closed.
Yeah, but I thought it was open before we got on because you got food there.
No, I just pulled over because it's next to the gas station. I stopped to get gas and a Red Bull at. So
you need a Red Bull to get through all this stuff. I agree with that.
I'm not even taking a nap. I get another 2 hours to drive after I finish this.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, good luck with that.
But that's what I do. That's what I do for our millions and millions and millions of fans, because I know that's what the little big dick maniacs.
I'm a little big dick maniac. A little big dick maniac. I'm a little big dick maniac. Kill a Kev.
Say your prayers and rub on
it. Kill a Kev loves the little big dick. That's awesome. That was great. Little big dick maniac.
23 Python.
I love your Python. Well, Kev, I don't know if you want to come in here and talk a little bit about our lineup. Who is broadcasting these days? Well, on Tuesday, we have the world's greatest wrestling show with Zayn and the Prophet, and they'll be interviewing the Prince of Wrestling this week, the Prince of Wrestling of WCW fame, as well as the Big Dick Tugboat comes through, and we've been able to secure Spider Tony of the ICW fame. And, if you missed last week's show with the Mighty Nation, it's available on the podcast network. On Wednesday night, we have a show about mixed martial arts, and our very own Stevie J will be on the air. On Thursday night, Stevie J will be on the air again, where basically he does a show very similar to Raw Reaction, but doesn't call it Raw Reaction because it's Thursday Night AMP. And then Friday night, Ed in San Antonio will broadcast from a Sonic and do his great show. And Saturday and Sunday there's shows, but I don't know the names of those. That's our lineup.
That's a pretty solid lineup, I think, my friend.
Yeah, man. I was just trying to do the best I can and get through the roster there. So hopefully you guys can all tune in. But Big Dick, that's really all I got for tonight, brother. I really liked the show. I mean, it was a wrestling show. The only thing I would point out, and I meant to say this, because I see Shane obviously still in a very great shape. From his, he's obviously not just for WrestleMania, staying with it. Shane, you know what he reminds me of? Vince McMahon during the Attitude Era. He's even starting to look like him.
You know what? I sort of see that.
Right? Like, doesn't he, like, with the gray hair and being jacked beyond belief? I'm looking at Shane, I'm like, he looks like Vince. He looks like his dad. Like, I've never really actually thought Shane looked like Vince up until now. And now I totally see it.
I don't know, but the thing is, I don't know how jacked he is compared to his dad.
No, I agree. You're right. And Vince is actually still pretty jacked, even at 70. But I've never seen Shane so lean. He always had baby fat on him,
Yeah. And, I mean, who knows? Maybe a couple of years away from the road got him in shape. I guess he's back with the company now. I mean, I thought this was just sort of like a help my dad out thing for a week or two or a couple weeks and fly in from wherever he was in like the Middle East or Asia or something. But it looks like he's here to stick around for a while.
I sure hope he is, man. It's a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? It's funny because I'm looking at the timer here. We're at about 43 minutes and we only probably talked about wrestling for 35 minutes, but we had nothing bad to say about it.
Well, I mean, that's the problem when there's no really storylines going on. There's not a ton to talk about outside of the fact just guiding our fans and listeners to going to the right matches and watching, the right parts of the show. But honestly, I wouldn't miss any of it. Even the 8 women tag. I mean, at 15 minutes, they put on a good match, man. I mean, there was nothing. I mean, honestly, the squash matches you can knock, but they accomplished what they were supposed to accomplish. You're not watching those matches for anything else but to see highlighting, the new talents. But overall, I mean, I wouldn't have skipped through anything. It was all good. It was all good. The only bad part about tonight was the Miz TV segment, that was terrible. That was it.
But at the same time, you know what? That came out that created 8-man tag match, which showcased two probable matchups at the next pay-per-view. So it had its purpose. I mean, it was a tacky segment, yes, but it advanced 2 storylines there.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I mean, it probably did. It probably did.
But
well,
I don't know. I would have liked to have seen League of Nations a little bit more.
They're just not utilized correctly. They're the one, I'll say that. They just don't use those guys right, honestly.
And you know what the problem is? I think that because we've seen what they can do, I mean, Sheamus is sort of a stale act. Where's a hell of a wrestler? Del Rio, hell of a wrestler. You almost rather see them, and I'd rather see like Del Rio and Ziggler go at it.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't even matter. It's not like the losses really matter to the League of Nations. It just looks stupid. It's like, we all know they should be winning matches, and they just don't.
Yeah, I mean, it should be like a bit under, what the hell is it? Like a bit underneath like where the 4 Horsemen were as far as talent. I mean, they have the talent there. I mean, they're great superstars. Everybody held titles. 2 of them held world championships. I mean, it's just, I mean, they're stacked, and it's one of those things where it's not like the Bullet Club where it's like the sum is greater than the individual parts. Here, it's the individual parts are greater than.
Well said. Well said all the way, man. Interesting stuff though, but it's gonna be a great show next week. Next week if they keep the formula, and I'm sure they will.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hopeful that they keeps up. I think it's been. I've been pretty pleased with what we've seen after Raw.
I think so. Me too. I've been happy as well. But yeah, well, I'll be back next week. I know you'll be back next week, and we'll do it again, Big Dick.
Sounds good, Kelly Kev. Where are you at, brother?
I'm back here now.
Oh man, we missed you. We summarized the show for everyone out there.
You did a really good job, and I am very much looking forward to hearing the life story of Tony the Spider tomorrow night on the Undisputed Wrestling Show.
Oh, you will.
But let me tell you, I was even more excited this past week when we got to speak to the Total Package Lex Luger.
What
are you talking about?
Last week's episode, I told you he was coming to the network. We sat down for about 45 minutes with him. We got an exclusive interview with Total Package Lex Luger.
Anything provocative.
So you should go download it and listen.
You know what? This brings me to something that I noticed, and this is sort of on topic because I think Lex Luger is one of the many in this area. I actually saw, and I think I sent you guys a link to this. Big Papa Pump witnessed a shooting up in Epworth, Georgia.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that Big Papa Pump lived in Georgia. There's a lot of WWE wrestlers and former
WCW?
Yeah, a lot of, I mean, that's obvious. A lot of WCW guys are from Georgia there, but I mean, I had no idea that Big Papa Pump was, in Georgia. I might go eat at Shoney's.
Huh.
Just to meet Big Papa Pump.
Big Papa Pump wouldn't eat Shoney's.
No, he owns it.
I'm just saying he wouldn't eat it.
Oh no, he probably doesn't. Yeah, he probably doesn't eat it. He's a generic jackhammer.
I agree with that.
But I bet you he puts on a high protein Sunday buffet.
I would tend to agree with that also.
You know, I bet you it's probably nothing but raw egg, and whole chicken and all the Ico Pro you can drink.
I gotta get in the Steiner's house.
Well, Rick Steiner is lives in Ackworth too.
Both of them?
What's that?
Both of them?
Yeah. I don't know if they're roommates or not, but
I doubt it.
yeah, I mean, Big Papa Pump owns the Shoney's, so
Good investment.
shit. You know what? His they had an opening event last week, and it was like a Tuesday or something, and they had Kevin Nash, Rick Steiner, Scott Steiner. I think Luger might have been there. I think Luger does live in
It all doesn't mean anything. There's 40 Blockbuster videos still in existence. Fact, by the way. There are 40 Blockbuster videos in existence still. Yes, franchisees that maintain the name even though the brand's dead because they bought in, and the rights can't be taken away even though the company's gone.
So what do they do? What do they sell there?
They have active video stores. Google it.
They still rent DVDs and VHS cassettes.
Wow, that's
And they're pretty much all exclusively in small towns that don't have any competition, including competition from the internet. So they're not really getting a lot of competition from like Redbox. They're not getting competition from Netflix.
so these are just really, really crappy places.
Yeah, pretty much. And I'm pretty sure about half of them have a tanning salon, have a tanning booth in the back.
That's fucking awesome.
Holla if you hear me.
You guys seriously didn't remember that Scott Steiner owned a Shoney's?
I had no idea.
You don't remember the video that out last year where he pulled up to a Shoney's in like a tractor or something and tore it down?
Shut up. You're full of shit.
No.
Send me the video, because I don't remember ever seeing that.
And he's like standing on the roof of it when he's done and stuff?
I'm calling bullshit. I definitely want to see
either.
I don't believe you unless it is delivered. Just laying by.
Prince of Wrestling.
Yeah, here's the video.
Send me a link so I can.
Yeah, he's pulling up in this big front end loader tractor. He's in the front of the scoop. That's right, he's in the front of the scoop as it starts to tear it down. All right, I'm shooting you the link right now. You heard the music on it, but
Insane. Absolutely insane.
it was the stupidest thing, and you know what? And I really didn't think anything of it until you just mentioned it.
Dude, you know what? I'm actually pretty stoked. Next time I get back to Georgia, I'm going to Shoney's. I'm going to go do some DDP yoga. I'm going to have Buff Bagwell strip for me. And probably some other stuff. And I'll probably get drugs from Lex Luger. I think he sells meth.
Makes sense to me. Well, that's all I got, guys.
Oh, and also I'm going to go to, if things get a little out of hand, I might have to go to Cobb County Prison and serve some hard time.
Makes sense to me.
And then I can go home to my wife and son. Oh God, just come on, Mike.
All right, before we get out of here, I'm going to do a couple quick shout outs. On behalf of Stevie J, we're going to give a shout out to Migraine McNasty. We're going to give a shout out to Chili McFreeze. And we're also going to give a shout out to the one hit wonder, Waltery Dischargeness. Thank you everybody for sending in reviews to Stevie J. He is more than happy to review them on his website and on his Facebook feed. And, you know, you definitely want to check out the headaches he has to deal with every week.
Who's Chili McFreeze?
It's obviously one of the greatest rappers that you have not yet heard of.
I like that name.
Does Stevie J listen to our show anymore?
Of course he does.
He does?
Yeah.
I'm surprised we haven't got, because we used to get every week, he used to give us a laundry list of,
I think he gave up on us.
He has made, or perhaps he has seen the light.
Well, we obviously like Raw, and we obviously like Angry Marks. So at heart, we all have the best interests in heart, right?
Of course.
Absolutely. BJ does love Bayville, too.
Stevie J he's got more important projects than us right now on his plate. And that's a good thing for us. So we love it. Keep on going on, Stevie J. We're all for it. That's pretty much it, you know? But, I don't know. It's all good, man. I'm excited about the direction of Raw. It's been great. You know, and it's not because of Shane McMahon. It's just WWE decided to change their booking. And it's working for them, you know? And WWE's, I'm sure they're seeing the benefits. The crowds are going ape shit. And I don't think it's just because of where they are. I think the crowds are seeing the product for what it is.
Now, listen to this. This isn't anything freaking ridiculous, but think about this for a second. Look at, I mean, obviously NXT's been huge recently, but look at like how their standard matches are. Very small, very short segments of wrestler interaction, GM storyline, etc., etc. Big matches, lots of matches, longer matches, competitive matches that everyone's stoked for. It almost feels like WWE Raw is being modeled after that formula.
It does seem like it a bit. I mean, the matches are much more athletic, and they're featuring people that the fans want to see. It looks that way to me, man. It looks that way, and there's been over the last 3 or 4 weeks, there's been a lot less bullshit finishes, which I like, and I've been calling for that forever, man. It's like cool to watch, like good matches end with a conclusion, you know, not just bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? And if you do have it end like that, have it for a reason. I mean, have it lead to another match or to save the title belt or something like that.
I mean, dude, you know, your pay-per-view match. I get that.
But
yeah.
Anyway, awesome Raw reaction.
Yes.
Excellent Raw.
Yes.
A good Monday night.
A great big dick. And all the little big dick fans are loving it. And we want to thank Killer Cav and everybody for listening. And we'll be back next week, baby. Killer Cav, if you could, take us home, brother.